Hey guys, we are live. Sorry about that. I was having some technical difficulties with my computer. For some reason, it kept shutting on and off, so hopefully it stays on with me. And that's why I don't have the camera on tonight, and I'm hoping I don't have to get a new computer again. Sorry, guys. But if nobody wants to come on or stay on, then I'll probably get off here shortly. I think Rick should be joining in here shortly. What's going on, everybody? What are you guys all wearing tonight? If you are still in the chat. What's going on, Thomas? Hey, Nick. Hey, Jason. Hey, guys. Like I said, sorry, my computer's been acting weird. Hey, Bruce. So it's been, I was thinking I was going to have to reschedule. Yeah, I'm back for now, Bruce, until my computer decides to start acting up. This computer's about 3 years old, probably. It's not one of the best computers, guys, but it's worked decent so far until now. So I'm hoping I don't have to invest in a new one. But what are you guys all wearing tonight? Wearing the bluesy, of course. Nice. I'm wearing a borrowed Oris Big Crown tonight. It's actually a pretty nice watch, nicer than I thought it would be. What are you wearing, Jason? Hey, Thomas, if you're still up. Hey, Urban Country, what's up, bud? How you guys doing? Hey, James Arthur, if you're still in the comments. And then everybody else. Yeah, I'm on Nick. Sorry, like I said, my computer just been acting up. That's why I don't have the camera on. It's been acting kind of funny for some reason. Got the Islander 18. Nice. I'm thinking about picking up an Islander. I'm actually thinking. I'm waiting to see what kind of Black Friday deals they got going on. I may end up picking one that, like I told you, Malik, I may end up picking up the Hamilton Friday for Black Friday to decide and see if they have it on special anywhere. And the Ingersoll, the New Orleans, nice. I don't think I've seen the Ingersoll. But yeah, I was having issues, so I had to reschedule there. And then, like I said, it's I don't know. So far, it seems to be working decent. Getting her. What swordfish are you getting, Jason? Getting her. What swordfish are you getting, Jason? What's up, Rick?
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, my computer. I don't know what it is, but it's been acting up kind of all day. Like it's been like wanting to shut off and on. So I'm hoping I got it figured out. It's about 2-3 years old probably, so it may be about time for an upgrade. So, what you wearing tonight, Rick? Watch wise.
I've got my Moser Pioneer Center seconds in kind of a deep blue. I'm looking for someplace where I get some better lighting here.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is a decent watch, and you said you got some pieces for sale. You said, right?
Yeah, starting to slim down the collection. So I've got a couple of Speedmasters, Gray Side of the Moon, a Planet Ocean Olympic version. I've got my JLC Master Ultra Thin Perpetual, a couple of ball watches, under $2,000 type watches, a chronograph, and a really cool enamel limited edition. Trying to think what else. Oh, a Rolex Milgauss, the black dial with the green Coke bottle green bezel. So about 8 watches. If anybody's interested, they can PM me and I can connect them. I've got a couple of buddies that are are coordinating the sale and handling it all for me, but I can connect them, connect anybody that's interested.
Nice. Nice. And your Instagram is if you guys are interested, his Instagram is the same as his name up here on the screen. If you guys want to DM him on Instagram there for any of this, the Rolex will probably sell pretty quick in Milgauss, I figure.
Yeah, I think that and the gray side, pretty popular watches, lots of sales. Shouldn't be a lot of question on value. I've got an Aventurine. I think some people have seen on my Instagram. I've got an Aventurine dial Speedmaster professional moon phase moon watch that's really pretty rare. So I've got that going too.
Nice. You still enjoying the Bulgari?
Yeah, loving that. Great
That's
watch.
a great piece.
Tim Mosso had that on. We talked about that tonight on his show as a alternative to hard to get steel sports watches. So I think Bulgari is really becoming more and more popular.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially the Octo. Some of their other stuff I'm kind of iffy on, like design wise, but I do really like the Octo though. But yeah, you got anything else planned? Have you still not got a G-Shock yet?
Still have not got a G-Shock. I need a G-Shock coach or tutorial. I wouldn't even know where to start.
There you go. I forget the name in the channel Bobby was telling me. Bobby will probably be able to tell you there's a G-Shock channel out there that he does nothing but G-Shocks. And it's a pretty good channel, so that might be one to kind of start watching and maybe see if you like anything.
Hey, something I saw on YouTube, John P, Fed's partner, John P. I don't know if anybody watches his channel. Mm-hmm. But he had a video on tonight, and he talked about watches that lose value instantly. And he started out, and most of them I didn't have any disagreement with, but he started out with Moser. And
really?
I think that's a really dated view. I mean, I think Moser, a couple of years ago, definitely lost value. I think they've strengthened a lot this year. And I'm interested in other people's thoughts. I just and John P is pretty straightforward, and I don't often disagree with him, but I think he's just way off on Moser.
Yeah, I think that's one of those brands that's a lot of people are catching on to now. Like you said, this year has gotten kind of more notoriety, a little more famous, I guess you could say. They're independent, correct?
Yeah, and they make about 2,000 watches a year. So, it's one of those brands that was around for a lot of years and then went away for a long, long time. And then it came back, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. So the brand got resurrected. And then the Milan family bought the company, I don't know, eight years ago maybe. And they've done a lot with it since then. So.
Okay, nice. Now, would you another brand I really like that's independent, and I believe they're still independent, is would you put like Habring up there with them?
I think Habring's on the rise too. I think they're very cool. I think it's a pretty good value proposition for what you get.
Definitely. I mean, you're talking probably what Zenith price wise, would you say, around that ballpark?
Yeah, I think in that range. Kadoki is also another small independent watchmaker on the rise. I just ordered a Kadoki 2, Chris, that I've got coming in. So I think it's a pretty cool watch.
Nice. What you I think is it Watch Buys? Are they authorized retailer for them?
Yeah. Yep. And then right? There's maybe 3 or 4 other ADs throughout the country.
Okay, I thought they were. That's one I've never really handled in person. I know Bobby said I think he's handled them when the Watch Buys the road shows that they have every year. So, which of course this year they probably wouldn't have it. And then Thomas was saying he thinks since the emergence of the Streamliner, Moser. Sorry, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Pull up the comment there. It said it has gotten the attention of many watch fans.
I think, Thomas, I think you're right. And I think that the collab that they did with, that Moser did with MB&F early in the year, March or April, whenever that was. I think that really kind of escalated them to a higher level too. I mean, they're doing some really cool stuff. I think the design language of the brand on the kind of minimalistic on the dial is pretty cool.
Mhm.
I love the connectivity of the CEO. You know, he's in forums. He's doing live streams and participates in a lot of stuff. I like a brand where the executives are in touch with their customers.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to see it like a big brand like Seiko, where it's just some kind of faceless person. Not face. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they're somebody you don't really know or see out and about.
Yep.
And then Bruce is saying the Kadoki 2 is gorgeous.
Yeah, I've got a special.
Now there are.
I got a special color coming in, so
Go ahead.
I think it'll be the first one.
Okay.
First one. Most of them are white, and then there's somebody that did a kind of a forest green limited edition of 20 or 30 pieces a couple of weeks ago, but they sold out instantly. But they'll do bespoke, one-off pieces, and they'll do a special order on a color. And I'm hoping I'll have it in December. Might sneak over into January, but it's not too long of a wait.
Now they're German made, correct?
He is
Or made in Germany.
Maybe designed. I'm trying to think about. Well, somebody in the chat probably has more information on him. I thought that. Yeah, I think they're German made.
Because I feel like WatchBuys only does German made or German design watches, right?
And I forget where he was an apprentice, but he's out on his own now. And his specialty, Stefan Kadoki, is engraving. And the really cool thing on the Kadoki 2 is the moon phase. Really cool.
And Nick's asking if you ordered it from
No,
WatchBuys.
No, I didn't. No.
And then Thomas is saying absolutely the collaboration with the MB&F was a great one. And we got Bud the Stud joining in the chat. How's it going, Bud? Then you got Bruce is saying Kadoki is German made. So, but yeah, so you tried to downsize, kind of like I did. I actually downsized my collection a good bit. I'm down to about 7 or 8 pieces now. I'm waiting on, of course, my Orient to come back from Bobby. But other than that, I've only got about 8 pieces, and a few of them are actually quartz, believe it or not. I've mainly been wearing my G-Shock, my all metal square, a lot lately. And just a watch you don't really have to worry about. You don't have to worry about it getting wet. Don't have to worry about it getting beat up at work. And like I was telling you, though, I'm thinking about picking up that Hammy for work, so I don't have to worry about too much. Just throw it on and not have to worry about it getting beat up.
That's a great choice. Great watch.
And I'll probably end up being more on the bigger side of the collection as well. I'll probably end up going back up to closer to 20 more than likely, because there's so many different watches I've seen now that I want to pick up. It's definitely hard to consolidate, isn't it?
It is. There's an emotional attachment to watches. I find it tough to let go. I see Design is asking how much the Kadoki's going for. I think the Kadoki 2 is somewhere right around, maybe a little under 10 grand, I think. So not bad for independent.
As to say, for what you get, is not that bad at all, considering it's really, like you said, independent and of course handmade too. So it's not that bad. In-house movement. I don't know them that well.
Movement. They're using a Habring base, but it's heavily customized.
Okay. I had actually seen Habring in person. I don't know if you've been to their boutique they have in Philly. He's got a couple other things that he sells there too. The smaller boutique they got, Habring. I forget the name of it, but a pretty nice guy that runs it. And they're really solid pieces, especially for the price.
Yeah, haven't seen that.
That's one just like the Kadoki, like it's a watch geek wearing it. you know, you're not gonna see him everywhere. You know.
Hey, Chris, let me see if I can share my screen. I wanted to see if I can.
Okay.
I can.
And James Arthur is saying, say what?
Can you see that now or not?
No, not on my end. I can't. You might have to maybe do it on your computer. Are you on your computer or your phone?
Hang on a second. Oh, Chrome tab.
And James Arthur is saying NBNF do some collaborations, most recently with Moser. Okay, yeah, I see that. I can yeah, I can add that. Should be able to. Should be popping up. There we go. Nice, Moritz Grossmann.
Yeah, anybody know anything about them? I mean,
I've heard of them, but I haven't really done that much research on them. They haven't really been on my, of course, my radar. But I don't know. Where did you find out about them?
I just saw an Instagram post and started to learn a little bit more about the brand. Again, they're in Glashütte, Germany, small brand. Just a few hundred watches a year, I think. But that one on the left, that's a blackened steel manual wind power reserve model. And maybe James Arthur is going to know. I mean, he's might know about Moritz Grossmann, I think is how it's pronounced. But it kind of caught my eye. I've got tomorrow morning, the global brand manager is going to give me set me up in a Zoom meeting, and I'm going to get a whole brand overview and limited edition of 12 pieces of both the blue and the black. I don't know. God, the last thing I need is another brand addiction, but really nice finishing.
Yeah. Nice. Is that their in-house movement too?
Yeah. Yep. All in-house movements run by a woman, Christine Hutter. She was an executive at A. Lange & Son and another German watchmaker for years. So one of the few brands run by a female executive. And you look at some reviews. I watched some Tim Masso reviews of watches on the brand and read up a few things and seemed to get pretty good reviews. But I don't think they're that old. I think it's less than a 10-year-old company, relatively new.
Really?
So
yeah, I've heard the name before, but like I said, it never really popped up on my radar much. I have to look more into them.
Yeah, James is asking, what's my favorite brand? I don't know. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff. I got into Jorn, I think like you did, James, really early. I think they're now becoming out of my price range, other than if I can get something new from the boutique or an AD, but pre-owned Jorn is crazy. I'm kind of excited about what Moser is doing these days. Although, I'm not I love what Moser's doing and I love the brand. I just haven't clicked with the streamlining, but so what, right? I like the rest of the brand and I like what they're doing. I've got a bunch of, I've got 6 or 7 Patek Philippe's. Some I like more than others. I tend to like, I seem to be moving a little bit more into the independent area and away from mainstream. I don't have a lot of, I've got a Daytona, I've got a Pepsi and a Hulk and some things, but they don't get as much wrist time as some of my independents. I bought a few months back, I bought I've really been on kind of a big kick on a number of independents, and that's what's prompting me to sell some of the watches that I've got up for sale right now, is just to really focus a little bit more on either limited editions or independent brands. My Groenfeld is what I bought a couple of months ago, the 1941 Remontoire. It's only 188 pieces, kind of like what the brothers are doing as well, and I think that's a pretty cool watch brand.
Okay. Bruce is saying Moritz Grossmann are beautiful pieces. He's seen them at the Watch Time New York and talked to their CEO, and she showed him all their watches. And he went on to say Christine's very nice. I guess that's the CEO's name.
Cool. Yeah, I've been chatting with Boris over the weekend, and he's a huge brand advocate and very excited, and an AD, I think, in Germany. And he's been really, really helpful. I went back and forth, 30 times over the weekend with him on Q&A. He sent me a video from the manufacturer in Glashütte.
Nice. Asking, this should pop up. He's saying, Rick, what did you think of the latest 12th anniversary Moritz Grossmann release this week?
Yeah, that's just what I had up. The black and steel version, they've got a blue in steel and a black and steel with black dial. They may have introduced some other things too. I think maybe they introduced something 12th anniversary around their automatic watch, but these are their manual wind. But I really, really like the looks of that black and steel. It just sort of has a mix of sporty and elegant as well, and it doesn't look like anything else that I've seen out there. So,
okay. And then James Arthur say, yeah, I can imagine travel restrictions are kind of hard right now, trying to run things. Hopefully soon they'll have some, right? And Nick's saying that's correct. So besides the Moritz Grossmann, you got anything else on the radar, or is that it?
I've got some stuff on order. I'm not, got the Silver Snoopy and the 321, but that may be like everybody else. I may be waiting well into next year, or maybe even 2022 before I see one of those.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, nothing real crazy for me. I'm saving for that the Breitling again. Wow, that's gotta be a rebuy. Believe it or not, I actually do kind of miss that one, the Super Ocean Heritage too, the blue dial.
Yeah.
Probably rebuy in the 42 millimeter version this time. Which those you can get a decent discount new, and you can pick them up used too, fairly decent price as well. So you won't lose a lot of money again, buy one of those. I know Breitling kind of tanks. Now, speaking of Breitling, have you seen the new? I think I saw it on ID Guy's stream. They just did like a 1970s reissue. Navitimer, have you seen those?
I haven't seen those yet, but I think Breitling is another brand that's on the rise. I think they had to work through, the ownership transition and some of the old inventory and the heavy discounts, but I think Breitling's doing some good stuff.
And they're actually, for the Navis, they're not that bad price. I think they're like, believe it or not, like $2,600 to $3,600 price wise, I believe. And that's for a Navitimer. That's really not that bad for the Chrono. And then James Arthur said Effie Jorn and Patek Philippe not really in his collection. He said he's Rolex, Gerard Perregaux, GF, LF, GF. Okay, that took me a second there.
Yep. Yeah, I've got a
in the mainstream.
DLA square that I love, blue, kind of a linen blue dial that's really, really cool.
And we'll see you later, Jason. Jason's calling in tonight, so I know he's about the same time zone we are down there in Aruba. So I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen his channel, Design Atelier, Rick?
Oh yeah,
he's got a pretty good channel.
Yep. Yeah, I watch his stuff.
And then Bud just says, got a serious question. He's got a Hulk and he has the Sermon on the way. Is that really two watches I need to keep? That's kind of personal, I would say, to him. Wouldn't you say? Whether he wants to keep both or not.
I don't think there's any downside, right? I mean, it's good trade bait at some point. I mean, my view, I've got a really good Rolex and Patek AD relationship, and I just won't flip quickly. Not that I'll never not sell, but I'm sort of in the hold it for 12 to 24 months minimum, and then sort of decide what you want to do. I've got a bunch of Rolex. I mean, some I connect with more than others. Like I like my Pepsi. I love my, I've got a blue Sky Dweller. I was one of the first people to get a blue Sky Dweller. Ordered it the day it got introduced at Basel World back in 2017, I think. Waited a year to get it, but I love that watch. But I've got a, black ceramic Daytona. I never wear it. For me, the Hulk, I just haven't connected with it that much. So some I like, some, it's so personal, right? On how you connect with a watch.
Okay. And then Thomas is saying, have you matured more into dress watches, or do you still get equal time for sports watches?
Yeah. So Thomas, I retired earlier this year, mid-year, and while I've still got quite a few dress watches, I'm probably starting to pare back a little bit on some of the dress watches, and I just find it more comfortable. I mean, most of us aren't getting dressed up anymore, right? But being retired, I'm not wearing stuff on a rubber strap, or just more casual watches. So but I'm not avoiding dress watches, but real dressy dress watches, probably not high on my list in the future.
Which the Bulgari you could actually pass off as a dress watch too, even though it's technically a sports watch, huh?
I like that category that would sort of, and that's what that Moritz Grossmann was, Grossmann. I think it sort of straddles between dress watch and sports watch, and that's sort of where I'm headed, where you could wear it on the beach or, wear it with a sport coat and tie.
And then Nick's saying Bud should sell the Hulk, cash out, fund other watches, and keep the discernment.
Yeah.
You got Flip and Zippo in here. What's going on, Flip and Zippo? How you doing, bud?
That was a
Flip and Zippo is the one that
where you marathon stream yesterday on Sunday. You got flipping. You guys go a long time. You wore me down.
Yeah, they go a couple hours there. Let's see. LL Square Dow is awesome. Rick, he said he's got a full set of the Octos now. And he likes he buys left of field brands mostly, so different stuff. That's all I like to see. See if somebody that collects a little bit out of the norm.
Yeah.
And you got Thomas saying hello. Some people just chatting amongst themselves. But that Bulgari, like I said, that wouldn't really surprise me. That may be a possible not right now, of course, but future down the road on from my list. Because it wears surprisingly well for how light it is, doesn't it? And flipping. But yeah, like I said, I didn't really have any topics for tonight. Just kind of figured we'd chat a little bit. You got anything on your mind for Black Friday watches?
Not on my list. What about everybody in the chat?
Yeah, you guys got anything on your eyes on for Black Friday?
Hey,
like I said, I know for me, I'm probably going to pick up the Hamilton. What's up?
Chris, throw that. I just
okay. Let me pull that up here.
Throw that up there. That's something that caught my eye today.
It should be adding. Again, my computer is acting up. But there it goes. That's nice.
Moser
What brand is that?
Moser Vanta Black Moon. I think it's a perpetual moon phase. I got to learn a little bit more about it, but just love the clean, crisp look of that.
That is clean. My only thing is, I wonder how you would tell like the exact time.
Yeah.
Without the indices. But definitely does look clean though. But yeah, like I say, unless I see any really great deals, that'll probably be the only thing I pick up. Have a good night, Urban Country. I guess he's calling a night. And then Jeb's asking, but does it need a second hand?
Yeah, I don't know. Haven't seen it in the metal.
Yeah. That's kind of like I know a lot of people like to hate on Movado, but that's kind of like the Movado kind of look with no indices or anything like that.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then Orange Hand saying he saw a headline that Paddock's production was down 30% this year. Assume other Swiss brands were similar. Will take some time for pent-up demand to clear. Well, probably because they probably don't have as many people in the factories. Wouldn't you assume, Rick?
Yeah. That's interesting. I think 30% off. I mean, maybe that's what's, watch prices have held really well, and in some brands they've increased a lot this year, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just supply demand. I mean, a lot of it's been attributed to all of us having more time on our hands and being locked up, and we can't go on vacations and holiday and spend money elsewhere. But maybe the other part of it is just supply demand, and there's less supply, and that's driving up prices too.
And I wondered too how many people have gotten into the hobby this year just because of the whole virus thing. Like they're bored and they're just doing research, and all of a sudden they just get into the rabbit hole and watch it. Bruce, and then let's see here. James Arthur's asking, what do you think of his favorite GP escapement?
One word: amazing. I mean, that's just phenomenal.
No, I'm assuming he's talking about Gerard Perregaux, right?
No, Grubel Force.
Oh, Grubel Force. Okay.
I think.
And he said his daughter has the Moser Black.
Oh, that's cool.
He said hers doesn't have the second hand. Yeah, there's definitely different watches for sure. Definitely different watches. But yeah, like I said, that's those are the only things on my radar as far as like what I want to buy. I hadn't really been buying too much lately though, because I've been getting so much in for review.
Yeah. Chris, are you doing some reviews on? You got some stuff in recently?
Yeah, I do have some stuff in from a certain company. Like I said, I've still got to be quiet about it, I guess, because my episode with him doesn't air till actually Thanksgiving, I think, is when it's supposed to air. That day, I'll be on another channel that you guys are probably all real familiar with, I'm sure. And he was kind enough. He sent me in about 7 different pieces, so I'll be doing like an unboxing video review of those. So I may start working with him a little bit more, kind of, get some watches in from him, look at and send them back. So, but yeah, he sent me in pretty much mainly like entry level stuff. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, I've got this Oris, pretty nice Oris. It's the big crown. It's pretty nice.
Hey, is there something going on with Oris and their in-house movement? The watch they just announced with their in-house movement with some
I've
kind of
heard. Yeah, I've heard they were having some kind of issues with it. I forget who I heard say. I think Random Rob had mentioned it the other day or today in his live stream, or I can't remember. I watched so many different videos, but somebody had mentioned it that some of them were having problems. I believe with was it the escapement in the movement?
I think it was. I think what I heard somewhere might have been on Bruce Williams. Was that when you hacked the I think the hour hand jumped in some cases. So I don't know.
Yeah, which sucks for Oris, but that's always kind of to be expected with like a first year, just like a first year vehicle. Like whenever you buy, you don't always buy the first year vehicle because it's always got some kind of quirky issues with it. I guess this is kind of the same with watches. I'm sure they'll get it figured out. But that is the good thing about them having, what is it, a 10-year warranty, I think? 12-year warranty?
Is it that long?
I think it is something crazy like that. Yeah. So, I mean, you can return it, which would suck because you have to return your brand new watch. You just buy it for about $3 or $4 grand. A lot of people probably don't want to do that. But James Arthur is saying Richemont Group's best-selling brand for 2020 is Panerai for the second. That's surprising. Think Panerai is coming back on the rise?
I don't know. I am not a Panerai guy. You know, they're just. I've got a smaller size wrist, so I've just never really been into Panerai. Yeah, Thomas is asking what drew me to the Octo Finissimo. You know, Thomas, I looked at the watch when it first got introduced in titanium, I think, in that matte gray with the matte dial, and really liked it. But it kind of looked like I thought it looked like an Etch-a-Sketch, if you remember those. And as they started to introduce different models, I just became more and more intrigued, and I've tried them on a couple of times. I was in Las Vegas earlier this year before everything got shut down, and I went to the boutique there and tried on a couple of them. I thought I'd really like the matte black model that they introduced, but the dial isn't particularly legible. And then when they came out with this steel version with the black and the blue dial, I really became intrigued. And I thought I was going to buy the black dial, and I think Amon thought the same thing, went into the boutique thinking you're going to buy the black dial, but I compared the two, and the black dial is kind of a flat black, and the blue is more of a sunburst blue. And Chris, you had the watch, you know what it looks like. You know, and I fell in love with that blue dial. And honestly, I was like, you know, gee, the last thing I need is another blue dial watch. But it was just so beautiful and looks different in every different light. But I really, really do like the thinness, the comfort of the bracelet. It's like wearing nothing.
Yeah.
I like kind of not wearing what everybody else. I think James said the same thing. I like wearing stuff that not everybody else has. So
Definitely. And it's definitely a lot of watch for the money. I mean, I would consider up there with like JLC and brands like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Definitely put it up there with that. And I think he shows right with the blue dial. That blue dial just kind of pops, especially out in the sunlight. Like when I got the outdoor shots, it definitely pops.
I've noticed on those that Watchbox has had a couple over the last 2 or 3 weeks of the blue dial, and they've sold instantly, and they're selling them at basically retail price. If
I remember correctly, I think what's his name from Watchbox, the one guy that's not always on there all the time. I think he's got the titanium one, correct? You know what I'm talking about? The guy with the glasses, kind of bigger guy. I can't think of his name. He used to be on there with Josh.
Jason Main.
Yeah.
Yep.
I believe he picked up a titanium one, I think, when they first came out.
Yeah, I don't see him on...
I hadn't seen him on Watchbox, though.
A long time.
I hadn't seen Josh on there, neither.
Yeah, I used to like their show.
Yeah. Yeah, they did pretty good together, him and Josh, when they were on. But
Tim does such a great job. I mean, I don't know how anybody can know he does. I mean, it's just amazing how he's got that wealth of knowledge for a young guy.
Yeah, he's just like a library of like watches, pretty much. I compared him one time. I don't know if are you into cars at all?
No.
I guess to say, I don't know if you know or heard the name Steve Magnate. He's really big in the car hobby. He works with works with Hot Rod and Motor Trend magazine and all that. Like he can like spout off, like he'll know like the number on a block, like on a Dodge Dart. Like he'll have it like memorized, kind of like Tim does with like watches. Like I compared him to Steve Magnate, Tim. As far as just being like a wealth of knowledge and knowing like the numbers and everything, which is crazy. And then Nick J saying, yeah, Jason at Watchbox was the first person I saw with Octo introduced me to it on their show.
I know it got talked about yesterday.
And that's one thing,
Chris, on Flip and Zippo's show yesterday that we talked about. I think Thomas brought it up. With Watches and Wonders being canceled. Or it's going to be virtual, not canceled, but it won't be live. That I think we're probably in for another year next year where it's going to be, this gradual introduction instead of the big bang like it used to be, where everybody introduced stuff in a couple of week period. I think you're going to see introductions throughout the year. I kind of actually think that's good. I think the brands get more exposure, the watches, the introductions get more exposure. But I'll tell you what I'm missing is not Basel World or Watches and Wonder. I'm missing small get-togethers. I've had people reach out and say they're coming into town, and I live in Chicago, and it's just an environment. I think all over the globe, but certainly here in the U.S. I think everywhere. I don't know what it's like in Myrtle Beach, but COVID is such that you really can't take a risk. And there's a handful, half a dozen guys here in Chicago. I just moved back here 6 months ago. There's a half a dozen guys I'd love to get together with, but you just can't risk it right now. And I really miss getting together. And I think that's what's cool about these live streams. It's the best substitute we have. But I really miss getting together and looking at each other's watches.
Yeah.
Everybody brings 2 or 3 watches, and you share them, pass them around, and you get to handle stuff that you don't normally see. And I really miss that.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the thing here about the beach. Like I've got maybe about 3 or 4 different buddies there in the watches, but nothing too crazy. Most of my friends are, iPhone or iWatches or whatever. They're not really no watches. But like where you're at, my buddy George actually that was going to be on the stream, but of course everything that happened didn't make it now because got too daughters. But he's actually in your area in Chicago. I think you've seen him on my streams, George Rosas. You've probably seen him posting the groups and stuff too. But yeah, he's area in Chicago too. And we got Megan Arthur on here. Hey Megan, how you doing? And Thomas Burnett's asking, which Speedmaster are you looking forward to the most, the Snoopy or the new Ed White? He likes the animated case back of the Snoopy, but would much rather have the 321.
I think I totally agree, but I'm probably more anxious to see the Snoopy, to see the animation. I mean, there's been enough out there on both watches where you can sort of see what they look like, but and I think I'm going to guess both of those end up being long-term keepers in my collection.
Nice. And do you have are you like Clyde? Do you have the original 321 Omega also?
No, and I don't have the other Snoopy either. So I think the probably the rarest Speedmaster I have is I've got a Tintin, which I love. I wear it all the time. It's a great watch.
I like those. Now the only bad thing about those, how much are they? They're expensive to service, aren't they?
The Tintin?
Yeah.
No, well, I paid under $4,000, US dollars for it, and they're probably double that now, but it's a lot less than the 321 and less than the Snoopy, for sure.
Definitely. I'm not a big chronograph guy, but I do like the regular, just the Man on the Moon Speedmaster, just the versatility of it,
I think I'm sure somebody in the chat will disagree, but I think most of us, I buy my chronographs to look at, and I rarely use the chronograph function, but I love the beauty. I've got a couple of El Primeros that I just, stunning dials. Love it. Love looking at them.
Yeah. That's one, believe it or not, I don't really miss. Like, I enjoyed it while I had it, and it was a long time grail mine. It's just one of those things I just experienced it, and it was time to move on, I guess. But a great watch. No, I'm not saying I won't ever own one again, but they're definitely great watches. They're classics. It's a watch guy's watch. Like I said, like a watch nerd, is going to notice it before, Rolex. Nobody's going to know what it is, but they'll see the Rolex, the person wearing the Rolex next to it. They won't even pay attention to El Primero if they're not a watch guy.
Pretty rare when I go into any place, a meeting or anything, and somebody notices what I have. I'm actually really stunned the couple of times that it happens every year when somebody, at a non-watch event, when somebody notices what's on your wrist. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. Definitely. You know what actually chronograph I really do like, it surprised me, was that little Belova one that Rob sent in. That little white one with the orange strap that I reviewed. That was a fun little piece. I may end up having to pick one of those up for like $300 something. It's a fun little watch. And then Megan Arthur saying, have you fallen down the Moser hole yet? She said she's in love with Moser watches. Or her Moser watches. She can't get enough of them. Daily drivers, the green Flume Streamliner, and have ordered the funky blue chrono. I like the green one. I've seen those. Those are nice.
Yeah, we had a Moser up earlier. The Vanta Black Perpetual Moon, I think it is, or Vanta Black Moon, that I'm looking at tomorrow or the next day. But I've got just a Pioneer. I'm actually wearing it. Pioneer. Center seconds in the navy blue, and then I've got the green Moser MB&F collaboration, the LM101, the MB&F side of the collaboration that they did earlier in the year. That is that is a way cool watch. Love their dials. I love what Moser's doing. Again, just haven't clicked with the Streamliner, at least not yet, but really, really love what Moser's doing. Love how Edward is connected to the community, and he's on the forums, and he's doing live chats, and he's got a sense of humor, and I think he's done a tremendous job with the brand.
And that's good. That's more like what a lot of micro brand owners do. They interact with the community. And that's definitely good for the brand, too. And then Bruce is asking, what do you think about the new Breitling Chronomat?
Yeah, I haven't, Chris, maybe you probably know more. I haven't, I don't focus a lot on Breitling, at least not yet.
Yeah, I haven't really seen that one yet because they've released like a lot in the last couple of months even. I think they've released a lot. And then Thomas Burnett saying, which do you prefer, the El Primero or the Speedmaster?
Boy, that's a tough one. I think they're both really, really great. The two El Primeros I have are a little bit different size. One's an A386 and one's an A384, both revivals. So they're a little smaller. I think one's a 30, maybe they're both 38 millimeter. So they're a little smaller, and the A384's got more of that tonneau case shape, which I think is cool. I like different, but I love a lot of the Speedmasters too. Hard to go wrong. I mean, two great chronographs. I didn't, Thomas, I did not click. I owned, really just for a cup of coffee, I owned a Defy 21 when they came out, and just ended up being, I loved how cool it was. But too big of a watch for me. I think that's 44 millimeters, and it was too big for me.
Speaking of the Defy, one that kind of reminds me of it. Have you seen the limited edition, the Violet El Primero?
That's really cool. Really cool looking.
It looks cool. It's different. Of course, I'm a Clemson fan, so we wear a
Same
lot of
size,
orange and purple.
44 millimeters. So it's not going to work for me, but I love a splash
Yeah.
of color. I think that's why we like Moser, right? You know, the uniqueness of the dials, and that's what I like about some of my other Zenith is the interesting dials that they have, and some of the Speedmasters too.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't experienced. I've tried the Speedmasters on, but I haven't experienced one yet as far as owning one. But I feel like that's one like every watch geek should own at least once in his or her lifetime is a Speedmaster. When you say it's like one of those ones that like almost everybody should experience probably.
You got to have at some point you got to own a Datejust, and you got to own an El Primero, and there's just a lot of classic watches that probably. I know, Chris, you've got a Reverso maybe in your mind someday. I think a Reverso falls in the category. You own a Reverso for a while. I've got it up for sale, but my Gray Side of the Moon, my Speedmaster Gray Side of the Moon, that is such a comfortable watch on a rubber bracelet that looks great, fully loomed, lots of lume on the dial. Really, really comfortable watch. Wear that in summer a lot. Super comfortable.
Nice. Megan's saying she has the Vanta Black Tourbillon, and her sister has the RG Vanta Black from Moser. They become a Moser family. Nice. They get good taste. Good taste. And then Thomas Burnett saying he loves the A384. And then Buddah saying,
you can just go to my Instagram. It's at Rick_watches, and all of my stuff is up there. It's all my watches.
And then Buddah Stud's saying watches are gone 2021, more the same. I feel like the get-togethers are going to be bigger this coming year, especially if they have a vaccine out, because people are tired of being stuck indoors and seeing the same people, their small little bubble. That's why I think, like you were mentioning earlier, like people like these live streams, because it's kind of like doing a get-together and just chatting, with other watch nerds. So
I liked going to Watch Time New York, and I know that they started. I think they did it a couple of years. Watch Time in Los Angeles. Those were really, really cool events. But the small local stuff where you get 6 or 8 people together and have a cocktail or a glass of wine and shoot the shit for 2 hours. That's really the kind of stuff that I miss. When I was in Ohio, I was part of a watch group, and we got together monthly, and all kinds of different collectors. Yeah. Just like this group, all kinds of different collectors from all kinds of different price points, but really, really cool. That's where I first learned about Ming. So Megan, her work, just sort of got exposed to them in the last month or two, and they're probably a lot of stuff like a lot like some of MB&F's, most of MB&F stuff. It's a little bit too out there for me. Applaud the engineering and the everything that they're doing, but I'm probably a little bit more traditional.
Okay. And then, but yeah, I'm with you. Like, I like getting together with people, like-minded people like this, because, my girlfriend, she'll listen to me. She's great, but she's not really into watches. She just, I'll tell her about something or show her something. She's like, She just kind of doesn't really roll her eyes, but she just kind of acknowledges it, and then I don't bring it up anymore, And then Nick J is saying he really likes the Gray Side of the Moon. Megan's asking, do you collect any vintage watches?
So I've got 2 vintage Roger Dubuis. I've got again, this is all on my Instagram, but I've got a Sympathy with the original Sympathy shape that's really, really cool. Love that watch. And then I've got a bi-retrograde Perpetual. It's a shame what has happened to that brand. And I don't know if it's Richemont that did it or it was on the downhill slide afterwards, but you hardly recognize what Roger Dubuis looks like compared to when he was alive and when the brand was independent. I owned a vintage Omega Seamaster chronograph that I liked, but ended up selling, just a little too fussy for me. And then I had a vintage, I think sort of mid 70s, early 70s, date just with a Buckley dial. Anybody familiar with a Buckley dial?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of painted versus applied numerals on the dial and markers. So I had that for a while, sold that recently. Not opposed to vintage, but probably not high on my list.
And Thomas is saying, asking you to talk about your interest in Ming watches. He said he likes everything from the dress watch to the divers. Now, I believe Adam, Adam too, I believe, or mutual friend Adam from Tintin Talk, didn't he? I don't know if he still has or not, but he had a Ming, I believe, right?
That's the one. That's what got me interested. I had never heard of the brand, never seen one, and I actually hosted Adam and a bunch of watch collectors at a NHL hockey game, and Adam brought that Ming, and I was mesmerized by the dial. It was sort of as I recall, sort of a cinnamon color dial. Really, really cool, and great price point, right, Chris? Aren't Mings really reasonable?
I mean, yeah, they're affordable, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhat affordable, I would say. What, a couple grand or so, wouldn't you say? Or am I wrong on that?
I know some of the chat might know better. That's my recollection. Yeah, Blueshirt. I'm a big JLC fan actually. So I've got the most recent JLC was the boutique only Memovox timer that they came out. Really cool blue dial. I've got two Reversos Reverso tribute duo time. That are really, really cool. One that's blue and one that's gray, both red gold, rose gold. I've got the Master Ultra Thin Perpetual. What else? I've had probably one or two more JLCs. I like what JLC is doing. I had the opportunity to go to Switzerland a year ago, about a year and a half ago now, and got an all-day visit to the Maison in Le Sentier. Here's what's weird. You're spending too much money with a boutique when the weekend before we're getting ready to fly to Switzerland to go on our trip, my sales rep at the New York boutique calls and said, "Hey, what hotel are you staying at?" And asking us all these logistics questions. And she said, "Well, I'm flying over to meet you. I'm going to take you on the tour." So she flew over, took us on the tour, hopped back on a plane, and went back to New York.
Cool.
Just to take us on this tour. I mean, that's crazy.
Cool. That's definitely cool. That's somewhere I would like to go one of these days, is Switzerland. Even not just for the watches, but just like the scenery and everything. I from what I hear is gorgeous too, like the mountains and everything.
Yeah, and Megan, I got into FP Journe early. Not when they first came out, but probably 2007 or 8. I bought a CS and then acquired a Octa Havana Loon. I've got a Santagraph. I've got an Optimum. What else? I've got, I think, five or six Journe. No tourbillon. I had a Resonance. I guess I'll share this. It's kind of a quick story, and then we'll look at the time, Chris, and see how much time we have. But I bought a 2019 only Resonance. That was the one that was introduced a year ago.
Okay.
Almost 2 years ago, and again, these are in U.S. dollars. So the list price on that watch was $82,200. I was about to buy that from the New York boutique. I really, 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 really wanted a Resonance. And this was going to be a 1 year only run. So you knew that there weren't going to be that many of them. And then one popped up at a European watch company in Boston. They're a big pre-owned Journe dealer, and they had it listed for $70. So again, $82,200 list. I was going to pay that. They had it for $70. I ended up getting them down, got a little bit of a discount on it. So I got it for like $66. Then I get the watch, and it doesn't happen very often, but I got the watch, and I didn't love it. That's the one with the 24-hour dial on the left and the 12-hour dial on the right. And at least for Americans, that's just not how, on the 24-hour dial, that's not how we're accustomed to reading time. So when it showed 9 o'clock on the 24-hour dial, it really wasn't 9 o'clock. So I really, really kind of liked the original Resonance 1 with the two 12-hour dials. And I just never clicked with this 24-hour dial. So I ended up trying to sell it pretty quickly. Couldn't get anybody to give me what I paid for the watch. So I decided to hold on to it for a couple of more months. And this is all this year. So this summer, I ended up consigning it to Christie's. Christie's sold it on a private sale for $90,000. I'm in heaven, making 25 grand on the watch that I thought I was going to break even on. And here's the bottom line. If you go to European Watch, I think it's out there today. They've got one. They just sold one for $197,500. I'm talking. This is 6 months ago that I sold mine for 90.
Now, do you think people like Kevin O'Leary are bringing him more to the forefront? Like, because I know he's a big FP1 guy, and a lot of people watch his stuff. You think stuff like that might have an effect on the prices?
I think it's the auctions that happened, Phillips auctions, and I think there was a Christie's auction that happened in Geneva earlier in the year where there was some crazy, crazy stuff. I don't know if you guys know Matthew McCabe, great guy. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of a Jorn specialist. He's got a bunch of early brass movement Jorns that are worth a bundle. And he picked up a good buy on an auction over the weekend. Spent a couple $100,000 on it, but it's probably worth double that. So I don't know what's driving that Jorn market, but I'm glad I've got some. I'm going to hold on to them, and we'll see what happens.
You see them becoming possibly part of the Holy Trinity, knocking one brand out?
Yeah, I think they're probably too small.
Too small.
Doing what, 800 watches a year. I just don't think that that's big enough to kind of get to that point.
Gotcha. And Nick J saying a great story. He loves the Resonance. It's been one of his grails for a while.
So I don't know how I should feel about it. You sort of feel like, gee, at one point you're thinking I'm going to break even. At one point I'm thinking I might even lose, $5,000, $6,000 on the sale of the watch. You're not going to make money on every watch you own. Actually, very few. And then, you walk away, and I was thrilled that I made 24 grand. And by no means did I think that I caught the height of the market. I knew that there might be another 10, 15, 20 grand in that watch, but I didn't think that I walked away from $100,000. So, yeah. What are you going to do?
That's crazy. And then didn't Tim have one on Watchbox a little while ago that he had reviewed, I feel like?
I think so, but he might have one of those original 12 dials, and those are going to be, I bet those watches are going for, $250,000 or $300,000. Crazy.
And Megan's saying that's terrible, Rick, but she understands why you didn't like the watch. She said her mom has hers very cheap in Geneva. It's got piano black finish. Prices are being driven up by Watchbox marketing.
Well, I would say watch out, because I think Watchbox is going to start getting behind Moser in a big way. So I don't know that it's going to be Jorn-like, but I think you're going to see Moser. I know that they're getting behind Moser, and they're getting behind Lange and Son in a big way too. So I think you're going to see values of those two brands. I mean, between Watchfinder and Watchbox, you get two big global pre-owned companies driving a lot of value.
Mm-hmm. Luxury Bazaar, I noticed, actually has a few A-Long and Sons also. I love a lot of their watches. That's one watch.
The finishing is amazing on those watches. I have one. I've got a 25th anniversary Grand Lange one. There's only 25 of them made. There's 20, so I've got one of 25 with sort of a white dial with blue markers and blue indexes. But I would love a Zeitwerk. I'd love a Datograph. All stuff that's sort of on my radar, and might have to pounce on that before Watchbox and some of these other companies drive the prices up. Yeah, Thomas, I've got just one Vacheron. I've got a VC Overseas Gen 3 dual time with a white dial, and I love that watch. It's one of my go-to watches. I probably wear that and my Sky Dweller. Those probably get the most time of my watches. I love that.
Yeah.
Watch. I love the when you buy a Overseas Generation 3, it comes with a steel bracelet, a rubber strap, and a calf strap, all in the price. And it takes about 15 seconds to change the bracelet to a strap and change them out. I mean, it's just a really it's a genius system, and it's fun. It's like having 3 watches in one. It looks completely different.
Kind of dress it up or dress it down if you want, huh?
Yep, exactly.
And that's one watch that's kind of stayed on the radar. As you know, that's my all-time girl watch, the same one that Bruce Williams actually just picked up, the Blue 3-hander. But that's one, too, that's hasn't really been popularized by, I guess you could say, by musicians, artists, and stuff. Because a lot of rappers like to talk about Patek, or they like to talk about Richard Mille or Rolex, and that's one of the reasons why I think Rolex and all those are kind of hard to get now, because everybody wants to get them because they hear the rappers talking about them. But that's one that's been kind of under the radar from, I guess, that scene, you could say. Wouldn't you say? Is Vacheron?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Talk about bracelets. So I've got a Nautilus. I've got a 5712. I've owned a Royal Oak. The Vacheron Overseas bracelet is, I think, higher quality, and it is absolutely more comfortable. Maybe not as comfortable as that Octo Finissimo bracelet, but a super, super comfortable bracelet, and really amazing quality on that. Yeah, so I don't have any APs currently, Blueshirt. I had a Millenary a long time ago, which was cool. A little bit chunky, a little bit big, and then I had a titanium platinum anniversary. I think it was a limited edition of 500 pieces. Super shiny bezel, and as you know, a Royal Oak or a Nautilus are like scratch monsters. So before I did too much damage, I owned it for about 6 months, and before I put too many scars into it, I ended up flipping that. That's one of the watches that I ended up trading in on that resonance, that FP Journe resonance.
Nice. I tried on one AP. They're really nice, really well made. I tried one on the ECJ Lux up in Charlotte when I went to the Zenith event. Ross pulled one out of the safe for me, and that was the first time trying one on. I could see why people love them.
Yeah.
And then Megan's saying her sister just bought a pre-owned as new Resonance FP Journe 2007-2008 with the RG movement in Paris, very cheap a few weeks ago. Couldn't refuse the offer.
Nice, that's a good cap.
Always rose gold.
Yeah.
And then the Overseas bracelet is the most comfortable that Thomas has tried. But yeah, we're going on a little over an hour now. You guys about ready to call it a night, or? And then Megan Archer said Dad has a huge collection of APs, AP bricks, and AP art, Royal Oak offshores.
That's been pretty good stock to have.
Oh yeah.
Probably for me, it's just I just never had the connection. I've had connections with Rolex and Patek and Moser and all of these other brands. I just never really had an AP connection.
Now, am I correct? Did AP just come out with a new chronograph, like a remake of a chronograph they used to make? Did I see that somewhere? I feel like
they just came out with a tourbillon, really, really, really cool looking dial and a cool looking watch, tourbillon. But I haven't seen anything else.
And then Thomas is asking about your Pateks.
5196P Calatrava with the brigade numerals and sort of the sector dial. Dress watch for sure. 5524G, the dual time travel time. Happens to be in for service right now. Our friends at Paddock have quoted me 37 weeks for service, 37 weeks, and a really pretty pricey sum to do a full service on the watch. And it's not that old. The watch is not that old. You know, Paddock's got a really crappy warranty compared to almost everybody else. I have a black dial 5960 that was introduced for 1 year. So probably 10 months, 9 or 10 months of production. Flyback chrono, 5960 with black dial. Again, you can see it on my stunning watch. Never going to sell that watch. 5712 Nautilus. And then I just picked up, if you look at my Instagram, I just picked up they just discontinued it. I'm blanking. I think it's 5059 perpetual retrograde date with the starburst hand guilloche dial. Really a cool looking watch. Hunter case back on the watch. You know, they're still on Paddock's website at $102,000 US. I picked it up in the 40s, like new.
Nice.
Box papers, complete, everything. I've owned a couple of others. I had a Nautilus 5990 that I regrettably sold. I had a Pagoda. I think it's I'm trying to remember the model number on the Pagoda, but was a little bit too small for me. I'm just trying to go through. I might be missing one or two, Thomas, but that's 5212. I was wearing it yesterday. It's on my Instagram. The weekly calendar complication. Love that watch. 5212A weekly calendar complication. Really a cool looking, comfortable wearing, casual looking, unique watch. Those of us in the U.S. don't really use weekly calendars for anything, but still like a chronograph, kind of a really cool thing to have. So a lot of fun.
Nice.
Don't have any Aquanauts, but working on it with my AD. Maybe a world timer someday. If you're gonna do a world timer, Paddock's kind of got some pretty cool stuff with their enamel dials.
Nice. So you don't have 6 identical Paddocks like some people we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys, like I said, if you want to give him a follow on Instagram, his name is the same on as he is on here. Oh, what's my
Rick underscore
I was acting up again there for a second. And then Megan Arthur saying AP brick weighs in at 400 grams. That's a pretty hefty watch.
Heaviest watch I've worn has been a platinum Rolex, either the platinum Daytona, the Platona, or the platinum Day-Date is pretty hefty too.
Yeah, I'd say the heaviest I've worn is probably the U1 I used to have, the Zen.
Yep.
And then Bud the Stud's talking with Megan. He's saying on his K ever list. That's crazy. Now is that one thing you would probably not ever do, is pay like over retail or something?
Very, unless it's vintage and the retail was, kind of lost in the decades since. But, I'm never going to pay over retail for, a Paddock or a Rolex or an AP or, anything like that. Just there's too many other options.
Mm-hmm. And Nick J is saying the Platinum Daytona is pretty hefty. And I think a lot of people, just like why Panerai is getting on the rise again, like a lot of people are getting fed up with Rolex not being able to get Rolex that they used to be able to. So they're looking at a lot of other brands, I feel like.
Yeah. So again, for those that joined late, I've got 8 watches that I'm selling. They're all on Instagram. You can private message me, and I've got a couple of good friends that are watch guys that are handling the sale for me. But Speedmaster Gray Side of the Moon, a Planet Ocean Olympic, Pyeongchang Olympic version, really cool red, white, and blue and red watch. A Speedmaster Professional Moon Phase moon watch with an aventurine dial. JLC Master Ultra Thin Perpetual. I've got a Milgauss, Rolex Milgauss GV, the one with the black dial and the Coke bottle green bezel, crystal that is still in production. 2 ball watches, a ball chronograph and a ball. Those are watches under $2,000, and a ball Trainmaster with a really cool enamel dial. I think that's everything.
Nice. That's one brand I had. Excuse me, I had never taken a look at is ball watches. I'll just get around to one.
Got to buy them pre-owned. They do take a value hit for sure, but pre-owned, I think they're pretty good. I think they're a pretty good buy.
And then, but this does good question. Ask him to try. I guess he's talking about his watch. If he should ask him to try and buy it back. But yeah, we're going on a little over an hour now. You guys about ready to call it a night?
I'm good, Chris. If you want to, let's call it. Good chat, really good discussion, lively group tonight. So thanks for all the chat questions. Yeah. Get that computer fixed.
Thanks for coming on, Rick. Thanks for your time. Yeah, I need to. It's like I said, it's all one. Appreciate your time, and thanks for everybody that was patient and joined in on the chat, even though it didn't work out at first. Appreciate you guys.
Right. Everybody soon. See ya.
Have a good night, guys. All right. Should be